Hi and welcome to this episode 27, the Lisburn Distillery TV weekly review. I'm Colin Hopkins.
And I'm Lydia Campbell, and in tonight's episode we will be marking an historical moment in the Whites programme history.
We'll be hearing from the last player who notched up 50 plus goals for the club, Gary Liggett.
And then we will be looking forward to our next event here at Lisburn Distillery Football Club. Last weekend there was an important landmark here at Lisburn Distillery Football Club as the Whites Matchday programme reached its 25th year in publication. So Colin, I know you've been involved since the beginning. I'm sure you have lots of memories of that over the time. Lots
of memories. The history of White's programme was when a good friend, Andy Thompson, said to me, "Colin, would you like to help out with the programme for a few months?" And I said, rather foolishly probably, I said yes, no problem. So initially I came in for a few months, the few months became a year, and here we are 25 years later. He's long since walked away and I'm left carrying the can. But yeah, there's been a lot of good memories from it. I can remember many's a night, not many's a night, but certainly some, sitting up all night literally to 7, 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, literally printing them off and stapling them in my living room and so forth. So it's been interesting. Put it mildly. I mean, you yourself, you have been involved over this last couple of years as a sort of a young up-and-coming journalist. How important is it to see your name in print? If you want to put that?
Well, I mean, it's important, but it's also quite exciting. I mean, I find it quite funny because it's now been in publications for longer than I've been on the planet, which is just to make you all feel very old. But so it would have started just before, a couple of months before I was born. So it's quite exciting to be part of something that is has so much rich history. Essentially, it's been a big part of the club over the past 25 years. So it's very exciting to have the opportunity to contribute to that. Yeah,
it's good to have you on board from it. For those people who can't make it along to matches on Saturday, you might be interested to know that you can actually also buy a digital version of the programme. So if you're interested in finding out information on that, just give us contact on the email address which is now shown on your screen, and we'll get back in touch with you with some more details.
Next up on the show, we're introducing our new feature called Classic Distillery, where we catch up with someone who has played a part in the past at Lisburn Distillery Football Club.
And our first feature is on a player who hasn't left the club that long. In fact, he's still playing Irish League football, and is the last player to score 50 plus goals for Lisburn Distillery.
Yes, so tonight's guest is Gary Liggett, who is currently playing for Premiership side Ards, and Colin caught up with Gary recently, and here's what he had to say.
So I'm joined next on Lisburn Distillery TV by a face a lot of you will know, Gary Liggett. Gary, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Colin. Good to see you.
Memories of Distillery. Obviously you've been away for a few years now. What can you remember from your time at the club?
Well, it's probably, to be honest with you, it's probably my best time I've had in football at Distillery. You know, I spent 2.5 years there. You know, probably I left obviously to go to Ballymena, so the times were getting a wee bit tougher for Distillery, but definitely that it is my best time there. You know, especially my first season under Tommy Wright. You know, we won the CAS Cup, which was, you know, a hell of an achievement. You know, looking back now, I don't think people realise how big an achievement it actually probably was at the time. You know, and obviously getting the top 6 finish as well. Season after a wee bit different, obviously trying to fight relegation, and obviously the following year then that did happen. But you know, I loved the club. It was my best time probably in football was at the club. You know, my best football was played there. So I have a lot of fun memories of it. Yeah.
What was it like playing under Tommy Wright?
Fantastic. I mean, without a doubt, he's, you know, as manager, he just had that sort of, you just knew he was going to go on to bigger and better things. You know, he was just, looking back now, you know, just the way he had that presence about him. You know, he had the fear factor, but he was also very approachable. You know, but you know, he always knew he was going to be going to big things. He's done really well with St Johnstone, hasn't he?
You're probably, maybe you are with us, maybe you're not. You're the last Distillery player to actually join the 50 plus club in terms of 50 goals. Yeah, well, you're actually in 53 at the moment. Were you aware of that?
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but I remember actually because a few boys were saying to me, you know, I was telling them about the tournament. You know, how, you know, as well, to be fair, you know, a decent enough record there. I think I remember getting a wee plaque actually, you know, which I still have for scoring 50 goals, and I think it was 110 or something like that. You know, so obviously it did go pretty well for me there, but obviously I follow the club to a certain extent now, obviously still, but I wouldn't have known that I was the last one to have got that, no.
And you're currently playing your trade with Ards?
Still down at Ards, yeah, but a disappointing day yesterday, and Obviously, Cliftonville beating us 6-3, but I've been feeling good. It's been a hard pre-season, but I've been feeling fit, and hopefully then I know we'll have a good squad there. So hopefully we'll equal or maybe do better than what we did last season. Maybe finish a place higher again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Gary, thanks for speaking to us. Wish you every success in the future and all the best for ours this season.
Thank you very much. All the best to the Distillery for the rest of the season.
Saturday the 2nd of September will see the first of our ever popular Manager's Lunch ahead of the game against Dundela.
As usual, supporters will be able to hear the thoughts of management team Colin McElwain and George O'Boyle, alongside hearing from a special guest. And this time, special guest is none other than Irish League legend and Radio Ulster commentator Bobby Carlisle.
Well, Lydia, what do you make of Manager's Lunches? You've been to a few of them over the course of time.
Yeah, I think there's something that clubs should do more often, to be honest. I don't think I've heard of, or I hadn't before I came here. I'd never heard of that happening. Right. This sort of question and answer session with the management team. Yeah. I think last year in particular, whenever we were going through difficult spells, it was actually really well done. Yeah. I think because it could have been difficult. But I think it's really good to get an insight from the guys, and supporters do feel quite comfortable at hearing what they have to say and talking with them. I think they're very good, and then the idea you get a special guest, then there's always a bit of entertainment, and you get an insight into the game from someone who's not a supporter. In this case it's going to be a former Irish League player and someone who commentates, so they're always very interesting to go to. And always good food. Always good food. Jed always does very well, so we love it. We love Jed. So that's Saturday the 2nd of September, and if you're interested in obtaining a ticket to attend the Manager's Lunch, just once again give us an email on the address shown on your screen, and hopefully you'll get along and enjoy the event. So that's it for another weekly review show at Lisburn Distillery TV. Just to remind you before we do go that the Lisburn Distillery's next game will be this Saturday, at Saturday the 26th of August, when we are at home to Queen's University Belfast in the next round of the Stolz Steel and Sons Cup competition. Supporters should also note that kick-off for that one is at the earlier time of 2:30. On behalf of Lydia and myself, can we just say a massive thank you once again to everybody who's watched tonight's show. We really do appreciate it. I've been Colin Hopkins. I've been Lydia Campbell. Come on, you Whites.